This not only improves the quality of your work, but also reduces stress and boosts your overall well-being. Consistency allows you to pace yourself in a way that keeps your energy balanced throughout the day and across longer periods. Finally, consistency transforms your mindset. It shifts your focus from seeking quick wins to valuing long-term growth. You begin to appreciate the power of small improvements and daily discipline as the real drivers of success. You learn that mastery and achievement are rarely about big leaps, but about the commitment to keep moving forward, one step at a time. When you embrace consistency as a core principle of how you manage your time, you unlock a powerful force that ensures your 24 hours are used in a way that brings you closer to your goals every single day, creating lasting change and fulfillment. The challenge with consistency is that it requires discipline and patience. It means showing up even on days when motivation is low or distractions are high. It means resisting the temptation to skip small steps because you don't see immediate results. However, this steady effort builds a sense of accountability and self-trust. Each day you follow through, you reinforce your ability to manage your time and energy, strengthening your confidence and focus. Eventually, consistent actions become automatic, turning into habits that no longer require constant willpower but happen naturally as part of your routine. Another benefit of practicing consistency is that it helps you avoid the pitfalls of procrastination and overwhelm. When you break your goals into daily tasks and commit to doing them regularly, you prevent work from piling up and becoming daunting. Instead of cramming or rushing at the last minute, you make steady progress that feels manageable and sustainable. One of the most powerful truths about managing your time effectively is that consistency often matters more than intensity. While bursts of hard work can feel productive in the moment, it is the steady, repeated actions taken day after day that truly transform your life. Consistency is the foundation upon which habits are built, and habits are the building blocks of effective time use. When you consistently dedicate even a small portion of your day to important activities, whether it's working on a skill, exercising, planning your day, or simply prioritizing your tasks, you create momentum that grows exponentially over time. This gradual, reliable progress is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who constantly struggle to catch up. It also motivates you because seeing progress, even small wins, creates momentum and satisfaction. When your goals are clear, time spent working on them feels meaningful, energizing, and rewarding. Without goals, time can easily slip away unnoticed or be consumed by urgent but unimportant matters. When your day is driven by purposeful goals, every minute becomes an opportunity to make progress and grow. Goals fuel motivation, guide decision-making, and give your daily efforts a clear reason behind them. Ultimately, setting and committing to clear goals is one of the most essential strategies to ensure that your 24 hours are spent in the right way, aligned with what truly matters to you, and leading you steadily toward your desired future. Setting clear goals means breaking down larger ambitions into specific, manageable objectives. Instead of a vague intention like get fit, a clear goal might be exercise for 30 minutes, 5 times a week. Instead of be more productive, a precise goal could be complete the monthly report by Friday. This level of clarity allows you to create actionable steps and schedules around your goals, which makes it easier to focus and measure progress. Clear goals help eliminate confusion and reduce procrastination because you know exactly what you need to do and why it matters. Moreover, having defined goals allows you to evaluate your daily activities against them. At the end of the day, you can ask yourself, did what I did today bring me closer to my goal? This reflection helps you identify which habits or tasks are beneficial and which ones are simply fillers. Using your time well starts with knowing exactly what you want to achieve. Without clear goals, your day can easily become a series of random tasks that may feel busy but ultimately lack purpose or progress. Goals act like a compass, providing direction and focus for how you allocate your hours. When you know what you are aiming for, whether it's a project at work, personal development, health improvements, or simply maintaining balance, you can prioritize activities that move you closer to those outcomes. This prevents time from being wasted on distractions or low-impact tasks that don't contribute to your bigger picture. This mindset shift transforms your relationship with time. You stop thinking of productivity as something that only happens in long stretches of effort, and you start seeing it as something that is available to you all the time, in the smallest of ways. Eventually, these micro moments of action, awareness, and discipline compound into big results. You become someone who doesn't let time slip by unnoticed, but rather someone who seizes it, shapes it, and fills it with intention, even when it's just a few minutes. When you truly begin to value small time slots, you start to realize that there's no such thing as not enough time. There's only time waiting to be used wisely. When you start treating short time slots as valuable, you begin to live with greater mindfulness. You become aware that time is not just measured in hours or days, but in choices, small, repeated choices that shape your habits, your results, and your character. Whether you're waiting in line, sitting in a car, or taking a short break, those moments can be used for reflection, gratitude, learning, or planning. Even simply taking a moment to breathe and center yourself can improve your mental clarity for the next task. The key is to always ask yourself, what can I do with the time I have now? Not in the future, not when everything is perfectly lined up, but right now. Think about how often we say, I'll start later, or I'll do it when I have more time. We postpone reading a few pages of a book, organizing a workspace, sending an important email, or reviewing our goals simply because the time at hand seems too short. But these small tasks, when consistently done, can build incredible momentum. Reading for 10 minutes a day adds up to over 60 hours of reading in a year. Taking 5 minutes to plan your next move can save you an hour of confusion later. Using a spare moment to stretch, reflect, or declutter your thoughts can refresh your energy and renew your focus. The most successful people don't wait for perfect conditions or big blocks of time. They take action in the time they have. One of the most common mistakes people make in time management is underestimating the value of small pockets of time. We often think that we need large, uninterrupted blocks of time to accomplish anything meaningful. So when we find ourselves with just 5, 10, or 15 minutes free, we tend to dismiss it as too short to be productive. As a result, we waste those minutes mindlessly scrolling through our phones, staring into space, or delaying action. But the truth is that every major achievement, every productive day, and every well-used hour is made up of these very small slices of time. When you learn to value and make use of these little moments, you begin to unlock time you didn't even realize you had, and this is one of the most powerful habits in mastering your day. Focused and mindful of their time, their energy becomes contagious. Inspiration is often a social experience. By observing how others pursue their goals, manage challenges, and prioritize their time, you learn through example. It pushes you to elevate your own standards and remain committed to your path. Even if you can't change your entire circle immediately, you can choose what voices influence you. This includes the content you consume: books, podcasts, videos, and conversations. Make a habit of feeding your mind with things that uplift you, challenge you, and remind you of what you're capable of. When you fill your surroundings with intention, whether through people, space, or media, you create an atmosphere where discipline becomes easier and inspiration becomes natural. In this way, your environment becomes an invisible ally, helping you stay on track, stay motivated, and make the absolute most of every hour. Beyond the physical, your digital environment also plays a massive role. Constant notifications, open tabs, and endless online temptations can drain hours without you noticing. Create your digital space to reduce friction, turn off alerts, organize your files, use focus-enhancing apps, and set specific times for checking email and social media. What's on your screen influences what's on your mind, and by protecting that digital space, you protect your attention. Just as important as your environment is your social circle. The people around you, friends, family, classmates, colleagues, colleagues might lift you up or pull you as can. If you spend time with people who procrastinate, complain, or disregard goals, their attitudes can seep into your mindset and gradually erode your sense of discipline. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who are motivated, begin by evaluating your physical space. A cluttered room, a noisy area, or a disorganized desk can create mental fog and make it difficult to concentrate. When your environment is chaotic, your mind mirrors that chaos, making simple tasks feel overwhelming. On the other hand, a clean, intentional space sends a message to your brain that it's time to focus. Organize your workspace so that it supports deep work, eliminate unnecessary objects, set up good lighting, and keep tools and materials within easy reach. The space where you spend your time should make it easier to succeed, not harder. Even changing your scenery occasionally, like working in a library or quiet cafe, can boost motivation and productivity by shifting your mental state. The people you spend time with and the environment you place yourself in have a profound impact on how you use your time. Many individuals focus solely on building self-discipline as if it exists in isolation, but often overlook the powerful influence of external surroundings. No matter how strong your willpower is, if you are constantly surrounded by distractions, negativity, or people who don't value time, it becomes exponentially harder to stay focused and driven. Your physical space, digital habits, and social circle either support your goals or silently sabotage them. This is why creating an environment of discipline and inspiration is not just helpful, it's essential for making the most of every hour. When you consistently start your mornings with purpose, it becomes a ritual, something you begin to look forward to, something that anchors you. Over time, this habit strengthens your discipline, sharpens your awareness of how you're spending time, and cultivates a sense of peace and direction that remains with you no matter how busy life becomes. Even in the most unpredictable schedules, having a purposeful start allows you to return to yourself and regain clarity, making the rest of the day more intentional, more productive, and more meaningful. Starting your day with purpose also helps combat procrastination. When your morning has structure, it becomes easier to ease into productive work rather than wasting time figuring out what to do next. It's not about packing the morning with activity. It's about giving yourself a sense of control and awareness. Your brain is most alert and fresh after rest, and this is the ideal time to tackle complex or meaningful tasks. By dedicating this time to yourself and your priorities, you establish a mental framework that carries through the rest of the day. It's a way of saying, this day is mine. I'm in charge of how I use it. You take responsibility for your time from the moment you wake up, and that sense of ownership leads to greater fulfillment, confidence, and focus. A purposeful morning doesn't necessarily mean waking up at 5 a.m. or doing an intense routine filled with rigid rules. Rather, it's about creating a consistent, calming start to your day that aligns with your goals and values. This could involve a few minutes of stretching, meditation, prayer, journaling, reading, or simply sitting in silence while setting your intentions for the day. Even reviewing your goals or writing down your top 3 priorities can transform the quality of your day. When your mind begins in a focused, calm state, you're better equipped to make good decisions, resist distractions, and handle challenges without being overwhelmed. The clarity that comes from a peaceful and deliberate start helps you focus on what really matters instead of getting caught up in the noise. How you begin your day often sets the tone for everything that follows. The first hour after waking up is a powerful window of time that can influence your mood, mindset, energy levels, and overall productivity. Unfortunately, many people start their mornings in a state of reactivity, checking their phones immediately, responding to messages, rushing through routines, or dragging themselves out of bed without any real direction. When you begin your day like this, you're already on the defensive, reacting to the world instead of proactively shaping your own. Starting your day with purpose means waking up with intention and using those early moments to center yourself, plan ahead, and mentally prepare for the tasks ahead. This small shift can lead to a massive difference in how you use your 24 hours. Ultimately, the habit of daily reflection builds discipline. It keeps you accountable not to anyone else, but to yourself. It reminds you that time is a gift, one that you get to use differently each day. When you take a few moments to learn from your experiences and apply those lessons, you slowly but steadily become the kind of person who doesn't just manage time, but masters it. This habit alone can transform not only your schedule, but your mindset, your results, and your life. Improvement also comes from being honest about your limitations and habits. Some days will be productive and others won't uprick, and that's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. By tracking your performance and asking simple questions, did I use my time wisely? What distracted me? What energized me? You begin to develop a deeper understanding of yourself. Over time, this understanding turns into wisdom. You start to notice which routines work best, what time of day you're most focused, and which activities drain you unnecessarily. This insight allows you to design better days not by accident, but by choice. Reflection turns every day into a lesson, and every mistake into a stepping stone for future improvement. Daily reflection doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Even just 5 to 10 minutes of quiet thought, journaling, or reviewing your to-do list can reveal powerful truths about how you operate. Maybe you spent too long on a low-priority task, or perhaps you skipped your break and ended the day mentally drained. These are the kinds of observations that help you improve. Without reflection, you repeat the same mistakes. But with it, you become more intentional, more focused, and better equipped to make changes that lead to growth. Time management becomes less about strict control and more about mindful adjustment, like steering a ship gently in the right direction each day rather than trying to turn it sharply in one motion. Time management is not something you master in a single day. It is a lifelong habit that improves with constant reflection and small, deliberate changes. Many people assume that once they create a plan or adopt a new productivity technique, their time will suddenly become perfectly organized. But the truth is, no plan works forever without adaptation. Our lives are dynamic. Our goals shift, priorities change, and unexpected events occur. This is why reflection is such an essential part of using time wisely. At the end of each day, it's important to pause and ask yourself how your time was spent, what went well, and what could be done differently tomorrow. This simple habit of daily review gives you insight into your behaviors and patterns, helping you understand not just what you did, but why you did it. It's a way of checking in with yourself to see whether your time aligns with your values and long-term goals. A well-balanced routine recognizes that your time is not just a tool to complete tasks, it's a resource to build a full, healthy, and meaningful life. Balance allows you to do your best work without sacrificing your health, relationships, or inner peace. It creates a sustainable rhythm that you can maintain for the long term, rather than a short burst of energy that leads to exhaustion. When your schedule includes time for focused work, restful breaks, and intentional growth, you begin to experience a different kind of success, one that lasts, one that satisfies, and one that strengthens every part of who you are. Along with rest, personal growth is another essential piece of the balance puzzle. Growth means setting aside time to learn something new, reflect on your experiences, or challenge yourself in meaningful ways. Whether it's reading, learning a new skill, taking a course, or journaling, these activities don't just expand your knowledge, they expand your capacity. Growth keeps your mind active and gives you a sense of progress that goes beyond simply checking off tasks. It renews your sense of purpose and can reignite your motivation when work begins to feel repetitive or overwhelming. Unfortunately, many people believe they are too busy for personal growth, but the truth is, even 20 to 30 minutes a day can make a profound difference over time. When you prioritize your growth alongside your responsibilities, you become not just more productive, but also more fulfilled and adaptable. A well-balanced day includes focused work, but also time set aside for rest and self-improvement. Rest is not a waste of time, it's a crucial part of the productivity cycle. Sleep, short breaks during the day, and time to unwind all contribute to better concentration, faster decision-making, and emotional stability. When you give your mind time to reset, you return to your work with more clarity and sharper focus. The best performers in any field, athletes, artists, or entrepreneurs, understand this and treat rest as part of their discipline, not as an optional luxury. In the same way, incorporating moments of stillness and peace throughout your day isn't lazy, it's smart. It allows your brain to process information, recharge your mental battery, and prepare for the next phase of effort. One of the most overlooked aspects of time management is the importance of balance. Many people focus so much on productivity and getting things done that they forget the human need for rest, reflection, and personal growth. In the pursuit of goals, it's easy to fall into the trap of working endlessly, believing that constant activity is the only path to success. However, overworking without proper breaks or mental nourishment doesn't lead to long-term achievement, it leads to burnout. Burnout is not just physical exhaustion, it's emotional and mental fatigue that comes from prolonged stress, lack of sleep, and insufficient recovery. When you're constantly working without giving yourself time to recharge, your performance suffers, your creativity declines, and your motivation begins to fade. True time management isn't about filling every hour with tasks, it's about using your hours in a way that supports your energy, well-being, and long-term sustainability. One of the most overlooked aspects of time management is the importance of balance. Many people focus so much on productivity and getting things done that they forget the human need for rest, reflection, and personal growth. In the pursuit of goals, it's easy to fall into the trap of working endlessly, believing that constant activity is the only path to success. However, overworking without proper breaks or mental nourishment doesn't lead to long-term achievement, it leads to burnout. Burnout is not just physical exhaustion, it's emotional and mental fatigue that comes from prolonged stress, lack of sleep, and insufficient recovery. When you're constantly working without giving yourself time to recharge, your performance suffers, your creativity declines, and your motivation begins to fade. True time management isn't about filling every hour with tasks, it's about using your hours in a way that supports your energy, well-being, and long-term sustainability. But eliminating time wasters is not only about removing external distractions, it also involves managing internal distractions. These are the moments when our mind wanders, when we overthink, procrastinate, or try to do too many things at once. Multitasking is often glorified, but research consistently shows that it reduces efficiency and increases errors. When we attempt to divide our attention between tasks, we reduce our brain's ability to perform at a high level. Instead, focusing on one task at a time, known as single tasking or deep work, can significantly increase productivity and the quality of results. It requires discipline and practice, but it ultimately saves time and energy. Protecting your focus means setting clear intentions for your time and learning to defend those intentions against both internal and external intrusions. When we respect our own time and attention, we become more mindful, more effective, and more in control of our day. To effectively eliminate time wasters, we must first become fully aware of how we actually spend our time. This means observing our own behavior with honesty and without judgment. Many people assume they're only on their phone for a few minutes, or they believe that checking messages regularly helps them stay connected. However, when time is tracked carefully, it becomes clear that these distractions can add up to hours each day. This awareness is the first and most crucial step. Once we know our patterns, we can take steps to interrupt them. For example, we can use timers or productivity tools to limit app usage, block websites that commonly distract us, or set no interruption periods during our most important work. One of the most silent yet powerful enemies of productivity is the presence of time wasters that slowly drain our hours without us even realizing it. These time wasters often come disguised as simple pleasures or necessary habits like checking our phones, watching short videos, scrolling endlessly through social media, or even constantly switching between tasks in the name of multitasking. While each of these actions may seem harmless on its own, together they can consume large chunks of our day, often leaving us wondering where our time went. This hidden loss of time is dangerous because it creeps in quietly and becomes routine, forming habits that are difficult to break. The human brain craves stimulation, and in the modern world, it's constantly bombarded by notifications, entertainment, and distractions that provide quick dopamine hits. Protecting your focus is not just about removing external distractions, but also about managing internal ones like overthinking, multitasking, or constantly jumping from one task to another. Multitasking, in particular, can give the illusion of productivity, but often leads to errors and wasted energy. By training yourself to work in focused blocks of time, often called deep work, you can achieve far more in less time. This requires discipline, but the payoff is immense. When you eliminate the noise and reclaim your attention, you create space for your best thinking, your most meaningful work, and your most rewarding progress. Time, once lost, cannot be recovered. That's why learning to guard your focus is essential if you want to use your 24 hours in the most powerful way. Protecting your focus is not just about removing external distractions, but also about managing internal ones like overthinking, multitasking, or constantly jumping from one task to another. Multitasking, in particular, can give the illusion of productivity, but often leads to errors and wasted energy. By training yourself to work in focused blocks of time, often called deep work, you can achieve far more in less time. This requires discipline, but the payoff is immense. When you eliminate the noise and reclaim your attention, you create space for your best thinking, your most meaningful work, and your most rewarding progress. Time, once lost, cannot be recovered. That's why learning to guard your focus is essential if you want to use your 24 hours in the most powerful way. Eliminating time wasters starts with awareness. You need to examine your daily habits honestly and identify where your time is leaking away. This may require tracking your activities for a few days or setting screen time limits to get a clearer picture. Once you recognize your personal distractions, you can begin to take deliberate steps to reduce them. This might mean turning off non-essential notifications, setting specific times to check emails or messages, or using apps that block social media during work hours. Even organizing your workspace to minimize clutter can significantly boost focus. When your environment is free from unnecessary distractions, your mind has more room to concentrate on what matters. In today's digital age, one of the greatest challenges to effective time management is the constant presence of distractions that chip away at our focus. These distractions often disguise themselves as harmless habits, scrolling through social media, checking notifications, browsing the internet without purpose, or spending too much time on entertainment. While these activities may seem like brief moments of rest or escape, they can easily accumulate into hours of wasted time each day. The truth is, most people underestimate how much time they lose to distractions. These seemingly small interruptions not only consume valuable minutes, but they also break our concentration, making it harder to return to focused work and lowering the overall quality of our output. This clarity can help you stay focused and make better choices throughout the day. Instead of drifting from one distraction to another, you have a clear vision of what needs to be done and when. Scheduling also helps to reduce decision fatigue. When every hour has a purpose, you waste less time figuring out what to do next, and you're less likely to fall into unproductive habits. Additionally, a good daily schedule should include not just work tasks, but also time for rest, meals, exercise, and personal activities. It's about creating a balanced routine that supports both your productivity and your well-being. People often make the mistake of scheduling only their obligations and forgetting to make room for the things that recharge them. Over time, this imbalance can lead to burnout and frustration. Creating a daily schedule is one of the most powerful habits you can build to take control of your time and improve your productivity. Many people go through their days reacting to whatever comes their way without any clear plan or structure. This approach often leads to a sense of chaos, increased stress, and a constant feeling of falling behind. A well-thought-out schedule acts like a map. It gives direction, reduces uncertainty, and allows you to move through your day with purpose and confidence. It doesn't have to be rigid or packed with minute-by-minute instructions, but it should provide a clear framework for how you intend to use your hours. When you sit down in the morning, or better yet, the night before, and plan out your tasks and commitments, you're making proactive decisions about how your time will be spent. You're setting boundaries between what's important and what's not. True prioritization also involves being intentional about your energy and focus. Some tasks require deep concentration, while others can be done when you're mentally tired. Knowing when and how to handle different kinds of work can boost productivity and reduce stress. It's not just about doing more, it's about doing what matters most first. When you master the skill of prioritizing, you start to work smarter instead of harder, and your 24 hours begin to feel fuller, more meaningful, and far more effective. The key to prioritization lies in understanding your goals, both short-term and long-term, and aligning your daily actions with those goals. This means you have to be willing to say no to certain tasks, delegate when appropriate, and sometimes delay less important activities in favor of the ones that have a greater impact on your personal growth or professional success. Tools like the Eisenhower matrix, which separates tasks into urgent V's, important categories, can help with this process. But beyond tools, it requires honesty and self-awareness. You must ask yourself, is this task helping me grow? Is it moving me closer to a goal, or is it simply filling up my schedule? One of the biggest challenges in managing time effectively is not a lack of time, but a lack of clarity about what really matters. In a world full of distractions and demands, it's easy to become busy without being productive. Prioritizing your tasks is about identifying what truly deserves your attention and effort. Every day presents us with a mix of responsibilities, opportunities, and interruptions. Without a clear sense of priority, we often find ourselves reacting to whatever feels urgent, rather than focusing on what is genuinely important. This reactive approach can leave us feeling overwhelmed and unfulfilled because we spend time putting out fires instead of making real progress.